we know that artificial intelligence and quantum computing, which is quickly coming, will impact everything that we have discussed today, right? What are ways, how is that going to impact us with patient health information? And what are some ways that we can prevent it? Have we even come up with solutions to the artificial intelligence issues? I mean, I know we had a webinar before, and there are some good things about artificial intelligence when it comes to protecting patient health information or data security and privacy, but there's also some weaknesses there also. So help me with that, please.
Julia, you want to take it or?
But for AI, one of the things which is most important, AI can help us. We shouldn't look at it as a panacea. It's not going to replace doctors, but it can do some heavy lifting. For example, I guess you mentioned the automation. That can be done with AI. But one of the things which is extremely important, and that sort of goes, well, almost against what we all discussed today, because we're discussing how to protect data, but also we need to discuss how can we share data safely, protecting patients' privacy, but share data. Because if we don't, the models that will be used on with our doctors will not be trained on our data, and they will not be generalizable to us, and they will be biased. So if I can share one more screen, and I promise that's the last picture. Here's some interesting information from 2020. It was published in JAMA. This is the sources of data that are used to train AI models. So as you can see, a lot of us are not represented here. And actually, if we're talking about, for example, California, it will be Silicon Valley and some of the LA hospitals, but not necessarily the rest of the state. So a lot of times, the data represented in those models comes from a handful of hospitals, like Stanford's and Mayo's of this world. But what about the rural hospitals? What about tribal clinics? All of this information needs to be presented. So in a sense, for me, there's always a sort of a two-prong approach, right? One is we need to protect patients' privacy, but at the same time, we should think about how we can share this data, because without sharing it, AI will not be trained properly. It will not be useful for us, and will discriminate against us because it won't be trained on our, let's say for dermatology, on our types of skins, right? On our particular problems that are specific to different types of population. So that's what I would say about AI.
So Julia, looking at this map, what does the green mean and what does the yellow mean?
So green means that it's more represented. Yellow means it's less represented. Gray is the rest. But what I was saying is that for California, for example, it looks very green. But if we dig deeper, it will be very green here and gray the rest of the place. Silicon Valley, and that's it. There are some New York, some Massachusetts, and some other states, but as you can see, that's a handful. Situation, this is from 2020. Situation has changed a little bit, but not enough to make sure that the models that are being passed by FDA, that are being used and that will be used by our doctors, are generalizable, are not biased.